Why FG did not appear in court for Nnamdi Kanu's case? Ejipfor. Lead counsel for Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Ejipfor, has said that the federal government is being unresponsive to the lawsuits involving them and Kanu because they know that his client has committed no crime. Ejipfor disclosed this in a statement on Thursday after his routine visit to Kanu, who is being held at the headquarters of the DSS in Abuja. The IPOB's lawyer said the federal government had been stalling to appear in court because they have no explanation to give on the carnage that was unleashed at Kanu's residence by soldiers in September 2017. Speaking on his visit to Kanu, Ejipfor said the FD's reasons for avoiding the court, though not far-fetched, may not be unconnected to their inability to offer an explanation to the monstrous and bloody invasion of Onyedu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's residence on September 14, 2017, wherein over 28 innocent civilians were murdered in cold blood by the invading Nigerian soldiers and properties worth billions of naira consequently destroyed in the process. Thankfully, the world is paying deserving attention to the gross human rights violations as it affects our client and as well as the continued onslaught on unarmed civilians being labeled as members of IPOB. Describing his client as a political prisoner, Ejipfor insisted that Kanu had committed no crime and vowed to not relent in the legal tussle to ensure justice for his client. We are not relenting in our efforts to ensure that justice is done to our client. He will be freed and in no distant time because he has committed no offense known to law. He is at best a political prisoner. Nevertheless, victory will be ours in the end, he said. Okay. I think one thing to point out is the fact that, yes, they have no justification for what had happened to Nnamdi Kanu's residence in 2017, which, if anything, they are trying to prepare for when that court case will happen, because it will happen. No matter how long they will try to stall, I think this is what most likely pushed them to adhere and accept the consequences of Igboho's lawsuit, because what they did to Sunday Igboho was basically what they did to Nnamdi Kanu, and of course them, paying the reparations and whatever lawsuits compensation was for Igboho. They probably did that to prove that they can rectify what they had done, and I think that was very intentional because what they did for Igboho was very, very surprising. They adhered to the lawsuit and they would not do the same for Nnamdi Kanu. Very suspicious. So I think what they did for Igboho in terms of compensating him was a means to an end in order to give the impression and the illusion that they can fix such, therefore it doesn't make them liable, or doesn't make them a kind of government that would just unleash violence, if you get what I mean. Because they will try to deny that it was the DSS that actually caused such damage, or the Nigerian soldiers that caused such damage, but then because of the values they have as a government, they would take the blame. You do that kind of thing. Again, it's not like as if we're dealing with a very clean and genuine and transparent government here. So yeah, definitely they're trying to twist something to make it seem like it's something when it's not. That's basically what I can find for this, because really and truly there is no justification. There is literally no reason for them to stall other than the fact that Nnamdi Kanu has committed no crime at all. Somebody says, Mr. Lawyer, it is only a dropout like Nnamdi Kanu, and he's like you can encourage to continue the killing and destructions of property. In the southeast so that you can maintain a source of income. Again, this is just a baseless comment, to be very honest, and basically this comment definitely lacks critical thinking, high sensitive observation skills, comes across very unintelligent, very much naive, very much lazy to actually do research and actually see what is happening for what it is. given very much sycophantic tendencies with such comments, to be very honest. And that's just what it is. Someone says, my greatest surprise is that even Nigerian leaders don't have shame. Every time they said Nnamdi Kanu jumped bail, now he's back and you people don't want to bring him to court. Imagine, I mean, he's in DSS detention and apparently, I think it was either in August or late July, where there was a court, hearing, and it was postponed because Nnamdi Kanu did not show up. Now, how does that make sense? How can Nnamdi Kanu not show up when he is in your custody? It's not like as if he can actually decide, you know what, I'm going to drive there. No, he was in your custody, so it was your responsibility to bring him to court. And they said Nnamdi Kanu did not show up. He cannot just not show up. It doesn't make sense. So again, with excuses like that, flimsy excuses that are very much baseless, this is what they do to, stall for so long. Somebody here says, useless Nigeria, watching them hope mosquitoes are not biting our leaders there. Okay. Even in military regime, the government still has little respect for law and order, but Buhari government is lawless. I am 100% sure he will account for his lawless actions. Yeah. Someone said Mr. Ejipfor or whatever you call yourself, you say federal government did not appear in court because he has no explanation to give and your so-called client committed no crime, right? Let's watch the drama as it unfolds. It will not tell any good of you if you will not say simple truth because of money. Well, where is this comment coming from? Because you are insinuating that Nnamdi Kanu is not innocent. And yes, do not get me wrong, you cannot pretend as if in the country that we're in, it's easy for you not to be framed, or it's easy for you not to be portrayed in a different light, because there's no system of accountability. So really and truly, blame can fall on anybody, even if you look at the basics of how people relate in the country. There's no system. So an accident that would happen on the road, someone else may take the fall for it. You may try to do good one day, let's say somebody dies, or somebody, is hit by a car, for example, and you take the person in your car, you try to take them to the hospital, the person dies in your car, and then you are the person that killed that person. You should understand. So, there's never really accountability. So, with the way the systems work in Nigeria, there is never really accountability. So, yes, there are times where it does seem as if Nnamdi Kanu is at fault. And to be honest, fact is, if you're going to argue it, IPOB is not a constitutional authority. Well, neither is MACBAT, but then they're out here doing their own thing. Fact is, if anything happens, it's not like as if they have any right to constitute, such. They just have a large following. And honestly, in the Southeast, are more respected than